Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Anuja Kumar with the Midday News. The headlines. President Draupadi Murmu flags off passenger train connecting Meghalaya and Nagaland. Enforcement Directorate raids several places in Delhi in connection with money laundering. Union Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas Hardeep Singh Puri inaugurates South Asian Geosciences Conference Geo India 2022 at Jaipur. WPI inflation falls to 10.7% in September. Food inflation eases to 8.08%. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says India can offer indigenous 5G technology to the world. Evacuation efforts underway after floods in several states in Australia. In shooting, India bags bronze medal at ISSF World Championship at Cairo in Egypt. And in FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup, India to face Morocco in second group stage match in Bhubaneswar. President Draupadi Murmu virtually inaugurated and laid the foundation stone for several development projects from Srimant Shankardev Kalakshetra, Guwahati in Assam today. The President inaugurated Indian Oil Corporation Limited's rail-fed petroleum storage depot at Moinarbond in Silchar. She also inaugurated two sections of national highways connecting Silchar to Badarpur and Gohpur to Hulung of Assam.
मुझे इंडियन ऑयल कॉरपोरेशन लिमिटेड द्वारा स्थापित सिलचर में बने आधुनिक डिपो का उद्घाटन करने के विशेष प्रसन्नता हो रही है। इस डिपो के द्वारा संपूर्ण बराक घाटी के साथ साथ त्रिपुरा, मणिपुर और मिजोरम पेट्रोलियम उत्पादों की आवश्यकताओं को भी पूरा करने में मदद मिलेगी। पूर्वोत्तर की ऊर्जा जरूरत को पूरा करने में इस महत्वपूर्ण योजनाओं के सफल कार्यान्वयन के लिए मैं श्री रामेश्वर तेली जी, उनके यूनियन मिनिस्टर एवं उनके पूरे टीम को मैं सराहना करती हूँ।
Srimati Murmu also flagged off a passenger train to connect Meghalaya and Nagaland. The train will run between Shokhuvi in Nagaland to Mendipathar in Meghalaya via Guwahati. Speaking on the occasion, the President said the central government is giving special attention on road and railway connectivity in all the northeastern states. She expressed confidence that various projects related to road and railways will increase tourism opportunities, apart from enhancing trade and transportation in the region.
गुवाहाटी से नागालैंड के शोकोवी और मेघालय के मेंदीपत्थर तक ट्रेन को फ्लैग अप करने विशेष प्रसन्नता हो रही है। कल मुझे त्रिपुरा में अगरतला को गुवाहाटी और कोलकाता तक तथा मणिपुर के संगसंग तक जोड़ने के लिए नए रेल रूट की शुरुआत करने का अवसर मिला। आज आज्ञापुरी तक मॉडर्न कार्गो का कोचिंग टर्मिनल का शिलान्यास भी किया गया है। मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है इन प्रोजेक्ट से व्यापार और आवागमन की सुविधा के साथ साथ इस क्षेत्रों में टूरिज्म की संभावनाएं भी बढ़ेगी। मैं इन सभी प्रोजेक्ट की सफलता और कार्यान्वयन के लिए केंद्रीय रेल मंत्री श्री अश्विनी वैष्णव जी तथा भारत रेलवे के पूरी टीम को शुभकामनाएं देती हूँ।
The President also laid the foundation stone for 100 model secondary schools for the tea garden areas, 3,000 model Anganwadi centres and a modern cargo-cum coaching terminal at Agyaturi near Guwahati. Governor Professor Jagdish Mukhi, Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma, Minister of State for Petroleum and Natural Gas Rameshwar Teli and several state government ministers were present on the occasion. Earlier in the day, President Draupadi Murmu visited the Kamakhya temple in Guwahati, Assam. The President is on a 2-day visit to the state. The Enforcement Directorate today raided several locations in the national capital in its ongoing money laundering investigation into the Delhi excise policy. The premises covered under the search operation belong to private entities linked to liquor dealership and distributorship. An FIR by the CBI had named Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia as an accused, among others, in the money laundering. The Delhi excise policy, which has now been scrapped, came under the scanner after Delhi Lieutenant Governor Vinay Kumar Saxena recommended a CBI probe into suspected irregularities in the implementation of Delhi's excise policy 2021-22. Mr. Saxena had also suspended 11 excise officials in connection with the case.
Union Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas Hardeep Singh Puri has said that India will do all that is required to ensure its energy security and affordability. Mr. Puri was interacting with the media after inaugurating the 5th South Asian Geosciences Conference, Geo India 2022 in Jaipur, Rajasthan this morning. Reacting to the decision of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, to cut oil production by 2 million barrels per day, he said, if required, India will go for diversification of energy sources. He expressed confidence that India will be able to navigate through the situation. Mr. Puri said, as per the estimate of the energy sector, consumption of fuel will increase and 25% of global demand in the next 20 years will be from India.
Everyone has agreed that we need to transition to clean, green, sustainable energy. That's a given because the devastation of the earth or the exploitation of the earth's resources in an unlimited way will result in the kind of consequences that we have witnessed so far and which we are increasingly going to witness. So greening is necessary, and in India we are acutely conscious of it. I can't think of any country in the world which has been able to bring the cost of solar down in the manner that India did.
Minister of State for Road Transport and Highways, General V.K. Singh, has stressed the need to make public transport cheaper and more attractive across the country. Addressing a conference on electric mobility and strengthening ecosystem in New Delhi today, he highlighted the need to promote e-vehicles and cut the dependency on fossil fuels-based energy in the country. The minister said intercity travel is now restricted by the battery life. Therefore, there is a need to expand fast charging stations. General Singh also emphasized on promotion of two-wheeler e-vehicles. The minister said India, under the Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative, has been working on alternative sources of energy, and the government is taking all possible steps in this direction.
Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar visited the Sabarmati Gandhi Ashram in Ahmedabad this morning. This is his maiden visit to Gujarat. He offered floral tribute at Mahatma Gandhi's statue at the ashram. Later in the day, the Vice President will virtually dedicate and lay the foundation stone of various projects at a function to be organized at Gujarat National Law University in Gandhinagar. The Vice President will launch the Centre of Excellence in Drone Technology at the Ahmedabad-based Institute of Infrastructure Technology Research and Management. He will inaugurate a Wi-Fi facility at all government and grant-in-aid colleges of higher and technical education campuses. Mr. Dhankar will also felicitate start-up entrepreneurs and recently recruited judges of the state judiciary. Wholesale price-based inflation eased to an 18-month low of 10.7% in September as compared to 12.41% in August. According to the Commerce and Industry Ministry data released today, WPI inflation fell amid easing prices of food index. Food inflation based on WPI food index decreased to 8.08% in September from 9.93% in August this year. The main contributors of inflation in September were the rise in prices of crude petroleum and natural gas, mineral oils, chemicals and chemical products, basic metals, electricity and textiles as compared to the corresponding month of the previous year when WPI inflation was 11.8%. The WPI inflation continued its declining trend for the fourth month in September but remained in double digits for the 18th consecutive month beginning April last year. The wholesale inflation was at a record high of 15.88% in May this year.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said that India is setting the global benchmarks on the digital front. She asserted that the country is confident to perform despite geopolitical and economic uncertainties. Ms. Sitharaman made these remarks at an event at a private university in Washington. The minister said that the 5G technology in India is completely indigenous and can now provide 5G technology to other countries.
The 5G that we've launched in our country is completely indigenous, standalone. There could be some critical parts coming from countries like Korea. So completely indigenous technology that we can now provide 5G for countries which they want, with whoever wants it. So our 5G is not imported from somewhere else, it's our own product. And the spread of it is also rapid. You've had private companies which have made these 5G products themselves, have very clearly said, by this year end a certain amount of primary locations. By 24 end, most of the country will be covered.
Interacting with the audience, Ms. Sitharaman said that countries around the world recognize the scale of India's achievement.
India has actually set benchmarks. There are countries which recognize that this scale of achievement is an absolute watertight proof that it is unfailing over the years, over the numbers and the size of the expansion that it is dealing. We actually have set global benchmarks in the way in which digital economy and the services that digital platforms can do for us, and that itself for India is a very big confidence booster.
Earlier, Ms. Sitharaman participated in the second day of the ongoing G20 Finance Ministers and Central Bank Governors meeting in Washington, D.C. Speaking at the event, the Finance Minister called for investments in infrastructure and simplification of international taxation rules. She said international tax rules should be simple, administratable, and generate meaningful revenue in developing countries. President of the World Bank, David Malpass, has warned that the global economy is dangerously close to a recession and called for targeted support for the poor. He said the World Bank has lowered the 2023 global growth forecast from 3% to 1.9%. He said that is dangerously close to a world recession. Mr. Malpass was talking to reporters on the sidelines of the annual meeting of the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund in Washington.
India has said it is deeply disappointed that the warring parties in Yemen have not agreed to an extension and expansion of the truce. A truce between the government of Yemen and Houthi rebels ended on the 2nd of October. India's permanent representative to the UN, Ruchira Kamboj, said the only sustainable solution to the conflict is a peacefully negotiated, Yemeni-led and Yemeni-owned political settlement. She said this yesterday at a United Nations Security Council meeting on Yemen. India also reaffirmed a strong commitment to Yemen's unity and unwavering support to the people of the country. The Indian envoy also acknowledged the government of Yemen's determination in implementing the truce agreements in good faith and said it is time for the warring sides to adopt a human-centric approach to the conflict rather than simply treating it as a military or political exercise. Ms. Kamboj also urged all parties to maintain the spirit of the truce and refrain from provocations or any military action that could lead to the resumption of active hostilities in Yemen. Minister of State for External Affairs Meenakshi Lekhi has criticized Pakistan for raising the Kashmir issue at an international forum and turning a blind eye towards the persecution of minorities in Pakistan. In her statement at the 6th Summit of Conference on Interaction and Confidence-Building Measures in Asia, CICA at Astana in Kazakhstan yesterday, Ms. Lekhi said it is unfortunate that Pakistan has once again chosen to misuse the platform to propagate false and malicious propaganda against India and distract from the theme and focus of the discussions and cooperation among the member states. In her statement, Ms. Lekhi said the Union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh have been and will remain an integral part of India. She said Pakistan has no locus standi to comment on India's internal affairs. The minister said Pakistan's remarks constitute gross interference in India's internal affairs, sovereignty and territorial integrity, which is inconsistent with the CICA declaration on the principles guiding relations between the CICA member states of September 1999. Ms. Lekhi said Pakistan is the global epicenter of terrorism and continues to be the source of terrorist activities, including in India. She said Pakistan continues to make no investment in human development but provides its resources for creating and sustaining the infrastructure of terrorism. The Minister of State for External Affairs said Pakistan must immediately seize anti-India cross-border terrorism and shut down its infrastructure of terrorism.
The Jammu and Kashmir government has prematurely retired 36 police personnel on charges of their involvement in corruption and criminal activities. These personnel performed their duties in ways which were unbecoming of public servants and in violation of the established code of conduct. These employees were found involved in illegal activities, remained unauthorizedly absent from duties for a considerable period, underperformed, were penalized in departmental inquiries, and some of them were found involved in corruption cases, facing serious criminal charges and had doubtful integrity. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. President Draupadi Murmu flags off passenger train connecting Meghalaya and Nagaland. Enforcement Directorate raids several places in Delhi in connection with money laundering. Union Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas Hardeep Singh Puri inaugurates 5th South Asian Geosciences Conference, Geo India 2022 at Jaipur. WPI inflation eases to 10.7% in September. Food inflation eases to 8.08%. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says India can offer indigenous 5G technology to the world. Evacuation efforts underway after floods in several states in Australia. In shooting, India bags bronze medal at ISSF World Championship at Cairo in Egypt, and in FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup, India to face Morocco in second group stage match in Bhubaneswar. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
I am India. Look at me. Know my name.
We're one of the most mega diverse countries on this planet.
Our weddings, our fashion statements, they're all inspired by our silver screen heroes and heroines.
A 75 years young India.
What we are really going to see India become is a powerhouse.
India 2.0.
The Journey of India from 14th October every Friday at 7 p.m. in Hindi and 10 p.m. in English on DD National.
Welcome back to the Midday News. More than 219 crore 21 lakh vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Union Health and Family Welfare Ministry said over 5,93,000 doses were administered in the last 24 hours. During the same period, 2,678 new COVID cases were reported in the country. The country's active caseload currently stands at over 26,000 and it is at 0.06%. The recovery rate is currently at 98.76%. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will chair the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research CSIR Society meeting tomorrow in New Delhi. Briefing media, Union Science and Technology Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh said the meeting will set the goals for the next 25 years for CSIR, which is a world-class body in the field of science and research.
The Sensex and the Nifty today climbed more than 1.5% in the afternoon trade. Both indices surged amid positive cues from global share markets. The Sensex was trading above 58,250 level, while the Nifty was trading above the 17,300 mark. The Sensex gained 1,041 points or 1.82% to trade at 58,276. The Nifty also rose to 87 points or 1.69% to trade at 17,302. In the forex market, the rupee weakened 4 paise to trade at 82 rupees and 39 paise against the US dollar in afternoon deals. In Australia, the states of Victoria, New South Wales and Tasmania are evacuating residents as torrential rain brings major flooding. Many parts of the country have received more than 3 times their average rainfall this month in just 24 hours. According to media reports, at least 500 homes have been flooded, 1 person has died and another is missing. Australia's second most populous state, Victoria, has been worst hit this week. Widespread flooding is driven by a La Nina weather pattern that killed more than 20 people this year in Australia.
Over the past 75 years since independence, India's largest public service broadcaster, All India Radio, has been the proverbial storyteller for crores of people across the country. All India Radio is celebrating 75 years of freedom with the series Azad Bharat Ki Baat Akashwani ke Saath. It showcases the journey of India since independence in various walks of life through the storytelling of All India Radio. In today's episode, we bring you the story of India's rising stature on the global stage.
India's stature on the global stage has grown significantly, and the world expects more from the country. Colonialism had reduced India to one of the poorest nations, but today it is the fifth biggest economy in the world. India has always prioritized cooperation over conflict, coexistence over competition, sharing over receiving, plurality over hegemony, and shared prosperity over zero-sum notions of growth. The country believes in the promise of diplomacy and international cooperation. India is firm on a zero-tolerance approach to cross-border terrorism. On all global platforms, India has reiterated that there is no justification for any act of terrorism. Ever since Narendra Modi assumed office as the Prime Minister of India, he has not only enhanced India's position at a global level, but also left a huge impact on world leaders. When COVID-19 pandemic posed an unprecedented challenge before the world, India played a significant role in addressing many issues with greater urgency. Prime Minister Modi said India's COVID vaccine Maitri program has helped more than 100 nations.
कोरोना जैसी वैश्विक महामारी में हम सबने और दुनिया ने भारत का सामर्थ्य देखा है। सदी की इस सबसे बड़ी आपदा में ग्लोबल सप्लाई चेन्स में इतना बड़ा डिस्रप्शन हुआ, फिर युद्ध ने भी इस संकट को और बढ़ा दिया। इन सबके बीच भी भारत आज ग्रोथ के एक बड़े केंद्र के रूप में उभर रहा है। अपनी वैक्सीन तैयार की, इतनी वैक्सीन बनाई, भारत ने दुनिया के 100 से अधिक देशों को भी वैक्सीन भेजी है।
Addressing the 77th high-level session of United Nations General Assembly in New York on 24th of September 2022, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said that India is meeting its development targets as well as offering partnerships to nations in Asia, Africa and Latin America. The minister pointed out that in its pursuit of climate action and justice, India has worked with partners on the International Solar Alliance, the One Sun, One World, One Grid initiative and the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure.
This new India, under the visionary and dynamic leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, is a confident and resurgent society. Its agenda for our centenary will be achieved through the 5 pledges that we committed to on our Independence Day. 1. We are resolved to make India a developed country in the next 25 years for the world that creates more capacities for global good. 2. We will liberate ourselves from a colonial mindset. Externally, this means reformed multilateralism and more contemporary global governance. 3. Our rich civilizational heritage will be a source of pride and of strength. This includes care and concern for the environment so ingrained in our traditional ethos. 4. We will promote greater unity and solidarity. This expresses a coming together on global issues such as terrorism, pandemics, or the environment. And 5. We will instill consciousness of duties and responsibilities. This applies to nations as much as it does to citizens. These 5 pledges affirm our age-old outlook that sees the world as one family. We believe that national good and global good can be entirely in harmony.
UN has hailed India for its thoughtful leadership and commitment to advancing high-impact South-South cooperation. India's journey of development in the last 75 years brings forth many templates for other developing countries, be it digital connectivity, financial inclusion, or over 2 billion vaccinations. India offers scalable solutions and stands ever ready to share these solutions with other developing countries. India has extended humanitarian assistance to all partners and friends, be it Ukraine, Afghanistan, Myanmar, Sudan, Yemen, and Sri Lanka.
आजाद भारत की बात आकाशवाणी के साथ can be accessed on @AIR News Alerts on Twitter, News on AIR official YouTube channel, News on AIR app, Facebook and Instagram handles. So tune into All India Radio News for Azad Bharat Ki Baat Akashwani ke saath. The second episode of Voter Awareness Program Matdata Junction will be broadcast today by All India Radio from 7:25 to 7:40 p.m. on 100.1 FM Gold channel. The theme is the power of one vote, ek vote ki taakat. Matdata Junction program is being broadcast in 23 languages across the country. AIR is collaborating with the Election Commission of India for broadcast of 52 episodes of 15 minutes each on FM Gold, FM Rainbow, Vivid Bharati stations and primary channels of AIR.
जब जुड़े लोग से लोग वोट बने तब लोकतंत्र का सिस्टम जब जुड़े लोग से लोग वोट बने तब लोकतंत्र का सिस्टम मतदाता जुड़ते जाए बने तब ऐसा नया कनेक्शन मतदाता जुड़ते जाए बने तब ऐसा नया कनेक्शन मतदाता जंक्शन मतदाता जंक्शन मतदाता जंक्शन मतदाता जंक्शन.
On to sports. In Women's Asia Cup cricket, India will take on Sri Lanka in the final tomorrow. The match will start at Sylhet International Cricket Stadium, Bangladesh at 1 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Harmanpreet Kaur will lead Team India in the final. A win on Saturday will give India a record extending 7th Women's Asia Cup title. India entered the Asia Cup final for the 8th time with a comfortable win over Thailand in the first semi-final match of the tournament yesterday. Chasing a target of 149 runs set by India, Thailand could manage only 74 runs for the loss of 9 wickets in the stipulated 20 overs. In the second semi-final match at the same venue, Sri Lanka defeated Pakistan by 1 run. India began their ISSF World Championship campaign with a bronze in the women's 25-meter pistol team junior competition at Cairo in Egypt yesterday. The trio of Isha Singh, Namya Kapoor and Vibhuti Bhatia demolished team of Germany 17-1 in the bronze medal match to get India on the medal tally on the first day of the competition. China won the gold in the event while Korea bagged silver.
Mask dances by the monks of Thiksey Monastery have attracted crowds on the second day of Ladakh Festival in Leh today. Tourists from different parts of the world have gathered at Chokhanga Vihara to witness the colourful mask dances locally called charms. Ladakh Tourism Secretary Katro Mehboob Ali Khan, district senior officials attended the programs at Chokhanga Vihara. Along with charms, heritage walk in Leh Old Town, Tanka exhibition, handicraft exhibition, art exhibition on birds of Ladakh and archival photo exhibition at historic Leh Palace have pulled the crowds. Similarly, a colourful sand mandala exhibition by the monks at Leh Indoor Stadium attracted intellectuals. Traditional archery, horse polo and folk song performance are scheduled for the day. Now let us have a look at the weather across the country. National capital Delhi will have mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between 19 and 32 degrees Celsius. Mumbai is likely to have partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Minimum temperature was 24 degrees. Maximum will be around 33. Kolkata will have a partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. Minimum temperature was 25. Maximum will be around 34 degrees. Chennai is expected to have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Minimum temperature was 26 degrees Celsius. Maximum will be around 33 degrees. Jammu will have mainly clear sky. Srinagar too will have mainly clear sky. Muzaffarabad is likely to have mainly clear sky as well as Leh and Gilgit. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. President Draupadi Murmu flags off passenger train from Meghalaya to Nagaland. Enforcement Directorate raids several places in Delhi in connection with money laundering. Union Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas Hardeep Singh Puri inaugurates South Asian Geosciences Conference Geo India 2022 at Jaipur. WPI inflation falls to 10.7% in September. Food inflation eases to 8.08%. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says India can offer indigenous 5G technology to the world. Evacuation efforts underway after floods in several states in Australia. In shooting, India bags bronze medal at ISSF World Championship at Cairo in Egypt. And in FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup, India to face Morocco in second group stage match in Bhubaneswar. And with that, we end the midday news.